I'm Daniel Landstandig, and this is Innovation 19. Welcome to Innovation 19, our new exactly 19-minute podcast on innovation, entrepreneurship, ideas, and insights that can transform our future. Today, we're talking about the social dilemma. I'm being followed. Everywhere I go, I see it in the shadows. I see it in every reflected surface I look into. What is following me? A guitar. It's a Fender Strat in ebony, if we're going to be specific here. I looked at it one time on Facebook, and now it's following me around relentlessly from Google Ads to Twitter feed suggestions to Instagram shopping posts. And this is the reality of living with social media, algorithms, and targeted ads. We've come to accept them as part of life. But according to the social dilemma on Netflix, there's a more elaborate plot behind these guitar ads I've been getting. And I don't think that the plot is that I should put a band back together. I am finding myself in quite the dilemma over the social dilemma, actually. On one hand, I totally get it. We're inundated with tech that's fighting for our attention and our dollars. But on the other hand, I love tech. And I'm inspired by innovation and good things that technology has done for our world. I don't want to leave social media, as the documentary suggests. I don't recommend leaving social media to businesses who want to reach prospects and customers. But where's the healthy balance? Can businesses be more responsible in the way they approach potential clients? Can consumers become more conscious in the way we use our social media so it doesn't use us? And most importantly of all, should I go ahead and get the Fender Strat? Like, seriously, kidding but not kidding. But here's the deal. Targeted advertising is not going away anytime soon. And I don't think that targeted advertising is this big thing to demonize. So targeted advertising uses your behavior when you scroll the web or a social media platform, and it watches what you click on, how long you look at something, what other users with your profile and similar behavior patterns have engaged with recently, and then various algorithms synthesize all of that information, and they select an ad that feels eerily tailored just for you. Because it is. You've probably experienced this before because you've looked at something on Instagram or Pinterest and 2 hours later it was being advertised to you on Facebook, just like me with my guitar. But not surprisingly, more traditional forms of advertising are being supplanted by targeted advertising because they are so efficient. Why put up an expensive billboard in hopes of impacting a random percentage of the population when you can have AI directly reach the people most likely to buy your product? The answer is both still have to exist in a good marketing program. And social media sites are perfectly engineered to tap into the benefits of targeted advertising, and more mainstream media is too. And all of this is happening because you are probably permanently logged in and interacting with various apps several times a day. So it's not hard to get a sense of what you're all about. And the tech is getting good enough to where it can extrapolate and even make assumptions about you. You'd be shocked at the information these companies are storing about you. They know your favorite athlete. They know your favorite brand of clothing. They know your favorite pop star. They even know your favorite Pop-Tart. I'm sure of it. But even if you've never explicitly searched for those things, they know it because your patterns have led to an AI extrapolation or logical conclusion about who you are. Beyond targeted advertising, you're also being given a targeted feed of information. That would be your Facebook news feed, your Twitter timeline, the order in which you're seeing content on your Instagram home screen. Most of us are aware by now that none of that is accidental or coincidental. It's all being curated for you by various algorithms. And that's where the social dilemma says there's a danger. The social dilemma is saying that if these platforms are designed to feed you targeted information based on what you like, then you're going to see more and more content that lines up with your political preferences, your sense of humor, your aesthetic. And in no time, you're basically sitting inside a virtual echo chamber of content. You know, there's no flashing warning banner that says, "Caution, you may only be seeing things that you're inclined to agree with." And this film argues that that's how targeted content has contributed to an epidemic of division and ignorance. Even if you logically understand that your feed is being personalized to your preferences, it still ends up feeling like the rest of the world agrees with you. And while that can feel gratifying, one of the most beautiful things about the United States is our freedom of speech, that you can engage in virtually any topic, exchange perspectives. So when algorithms can promote or suppress certain information, that's probably not a good thing. But look, politics aside, that happens for every one of your interests. I mean, suddenly, not only am I seeing a guitar ad, for instance, but I'm seeing my friend post links to a virtual concert that's coming up. My behavior influences what I see, which then influences my behavior, especially if I go ahead and buy that guitar, which will then influence what I see again. So this is an endless loop. So here's the question. Is targeted content creepy, convenient, just plain evil, or all of the above? The documentary calls it just plain evil. And the argument against social media and personalized targeting is that for pennies on the dollar, companies aren't just tracking your behavior, but they're shaping it. Companies exist to make money, so if they can shape the consumer's behavior, they can cash in. And I think that's the part that got everybody so riled up about the social dilemma, because the idea that someone is manipulating our behavior without our knowledge is just a little too matrix. I mean, no one wants to feel like they're a pawn in someone's evil scheme, but this is where I start to feel like the perspective of the documentary is a little heavy-handed. First of all, let's call out the obvious irony that this is a documentary about technology using algorithms to target audiences and make money. A documentary that exists on Netflix, which uses algorithms to target audiences and make money. You see where I'm going with that? It feels a little hypocritical. And while there are a couple of suggestions for how to keep social media at bay, like disabling notifications so your phone isn't constantly screaming for attention, the thesis of the movie seems to be that we just need to unplug or suffer grave consequences as a society. Cool. So we're all just supposed to delete our social media, stop Googling. I mean, come on. Unplugging is trendy, but it's not a practical solution for living in 2021. Hey, there are some people who can afford to do it. But if we're continuing to use the Matrix analogy, as much as we all want to be Morpheus and liberate ourselves from the influence of the evil machines, how can we realistically see that happening? I mean, I feel like the horse has left the barn here. You probably have a job. You have emails you need to respond to. Maybe you have friends or family in other states or countries that you only see on your social. It's just part of being on the grid now, like having electricity or having a phone. But I get it. The documentary has identified a problem. Many people believe that tech companies are making us addicted to our social media, ignorant of reality, and isolated within our own patterns. And I don't deny that it is disconcerting that a handful of tech companies know more about me than I even know about me. But instead of telling viewers to delete their social media, wouldn't it be helpful to talk about how to use social in a way that doesn't turn you into a puppet? First of all, I have to present an opposing viewpoint to this anti-targeting campaign. I'm just going to say that targeting algorithms are really handy. I like that Netflix knows what I want to watch because it has analyzed my viewing patterns. Without that, I would just get random content recommendations, and that means more time and more sifting through content for me. And we take it for granted, but can you imagine how annoying it would be to open up Netflix and see a slew of My Little Pony recommendations when all you want to watch is The West Wing? The social dilemma calls that evil, but I can't help to feel like it's just efficient, convenient, and it makes searching for entertainment on streaming platforms or even cat videos on social platforms on the right days more pleasant. But the social dilemma would say that that experience is too pleasant by design. The documentary has a really clear stance, likening interacting with your phone to using drugs because of the dopamine that our brain releases when we get a like or see an update, all of which is built on the psychologically proven intermittent reward system. And this reward system trains us to keep checking and refreshing our feeds and looking for new content. And I don't deny that that's happening. But there is a way to use social media so that it doesn't use you. First things first, turn on the screen time tracker on your mobile device and set limits for yourself. Now you can have your phone alert you when you are over a certain limit, like 30 minutes a day on Facebook. And there is an override button that's all too easy to press, but at least you'll be aware and more conscious of how much time you're logging with social media. Also, as an alternative to completely unplugging, you could give yourself a couple tech-free hours each day. If what you're really looking for is to feel more connected, instead of gluing yourself to your screen with status updates or being fixated on a YouTube video, why not turn on some music and listen passively to something that you're enjoying? And there are people doing this. There's actually a digital wellness movement called Brick. If you haven't heard of it, it's founded by Tommy Sobel, and their goal is to reshape your relationship with social media. So the idea is that turning your phone into a brick for some amount of time each day, that is, turning it off, has the power to reshape your relationship to your devices. And Brick actually holds tech-free events. They've hosted events for millennials where everyone turns off their phones for an entire weekend. I know. When was the last time you turned off your phone for a few hours, let alone the whole weekend? Start going 100% offline for just a few minutes in a day, for an hour, maybe during meal times. See how your family does. Having tech-free activities as part of your family life, like going to the beach, leaving your phone at home, educating your children that you can, in fact, have a balanced, healthy relationship with technology. That's our responsibility. That's not the responsibility of Facebook and Twitter and everybody else. We are empowered by our choices, and if we practice this together and support each other in this, then we don't have to yell at our kids to turn off TikTok during dinner. There are some helpful apps also, like Flipped, which is an app that completely hides chosen apps from your phone for a set period of time so you can get work done. That means you can basically set periods of time or day parts where you're hiding apps like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Parler. So when you do look at your phone, it's a powerful motivator to stay focused, and social media won't be enticing you to go take one more look. Another app I like that has a really cool user interface is called Forest. When you start working, you plant a digital seed, and it slowly turns into a tree. The tree grows as you remain in the app, but it dies if you leave it before your set focus time is complete. So you can grow a whole forest and even share your stats with others. And this type of gamification and socialization is a fun way to limit screen time. Now, when you're on your browser, if you don't want ads following you around, you could use a web service like DuckDuckGo or countless other plugins that allow you to browse the internet without storing information. It also shows all users the same information during searches, unlike Google, which, as we saw in the social dilemma, profiles users and caters search results to them automatically. But that being said, having Google knowing who you are and remembering you actually makes for more efficient searches, I've found. I mean, it's all about what your goals are. If you want anonymity, DuckDuckGo is a great option. If you want the ease of personalization, stick with Google. Keeping in mind that that pop-up ad with the drum set you've been thinking about buying is not a sign from the heavens that you should actually buy it. But another tip is to curate your feed. What you have on your feed is going to influence your behavior, your mood, and your lifestyle. And I think we can embrace that rather than fighting it. In simple terms, what you follow will follow you. And if you're on social, I suggest that you follow users with different opinions, even those you don't like, because this allows for a less biased echo chamber that makes you a more informed person and a more informed consumer of content. Mindfulness is 100% the key to technology bliss. So now that we have your personal social media use squared away, congrats by the way, let's talk about social media for your business. Targeted advertising and social media posts work. And especially when you combine search and social with a broadcast campaign, you can drive some serious positive results. But let's talk about targeted ads. As much as I understand the desire to keep personal data private, I'm ultimately still of the mindset that using consumer data, especially targeted advertising, benefits the consumer as much as it benefits the seller. But I understand why it can be a little unsavory. These days, targeted advertising is almost always automatic. There are AI tools that can produce thousands of ads per second, and they can test those ads to see exactly what resonates with you. Studies show that people don't necessarily have a problem with that part of it. They like the personalized part of the approach to advertising. The thing that's missing is a disclaimer explaining that the content is targeted in some way. And interestingly, a disclaimer can actually help people see your business in a more positive light. According to a widely cited Harvard Business Review study in 2016, seeing an ad that you know is targeted to you not only makes it more likely that you're going to buy the product, but it makes you feel more aligned with that ad. For example, let's say that you see an eco-friendly product and you're being told that it was targeted to you based on your recent web history that identified you as a consumer interested in that kind of content. Why not tell consumers that you're targeting them? For example, use an ad choices logo to let them know that the ads are behaviorally targeted. You don't have to stop targeting your content. Just don't hide that you're doing it. It's a win-win situation. And your business gets the attention you want, the consumer's not being manipulated. I think that's humane advertising. But what about social media posts regarding your business? A strong social strategy is incredibly important, and one study done this year by Sprout said that a whopping 9 out of 10 consumers will buy products from a brand they follow on social media. When a consumer follows a brand on social, their spending also increases by 75%. About 4 in 10 people follow brands they like, which means they don't find branded content annoying. They actually seek it out. That's one reason that content marketing for your business has to be fun and informative and not just all about your product. There has to be something in it for the user. There's also a customer relationship management angle. Consumers like transparency and engagement and strong customer service. 4 out of 5 people say they expect a brand to respond to them within 24 hours of reaching out on social media. And if you want to reach young buyers, Gen Z is staying glued to their screens. They much prefer social platforms with photo and video content like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not saying to go out and learn a TikTok dance to help your business, but understanding the platform is important. One recent example of the power of social to boost brand awareness and sales was a viral ocean spray cranberry juice video. It didn't start out as a marketing campaign. It was a simple TikTok video of a man riding a skateboard, listening to Dreams, the Fleetwood Mac song, and drinking an ocean spray cranberry beverage. His car had broken down, but he was staying positive, taking his longboard to work, drinking his favorite drink to keep himself in a good mood, and that simple video racked up over 26 million views on the platform. That led Fleetwood Mac to trend at number 1 on the iTunes chart. It had a big boost in sales for Ocean Spray, and thousands of people replicated this video over and over again. Ocean Spray was so delighted, they gave this guy a cranberry red truck filled with Ocean Spray. So does that little story prove the point of the social dilemma or refute it? On one hand, you've got a company that's trying to get you to buy more juice, so it's taking advantage of emotional bias towards an organic viral video and capitalizing on it. But we have to look at the real net impact here, which is that at the end of the day, that guy got a brand new truck full of his favorite drink, and the rest of us at home feel amazing about it. We probably bought a bottle of Ocean Spray on our next trip to the grocery store. So the bottom line on the social dilemma is this. We as individuals, entrepreneurs, business leaders, we have the power to shape and control our own behaviors in order to make these tools helpful and not all-consuming. And while I hope that some of the tips that I shared with you will guide you to a healthy relationship with these technologies, I think it's important to always be critical and conscious of the tech we use and the time that we consume using it. Being critical is good. It forces small programmers and big tech alike to take a hard look at their actions and creations. And clearly, something is amiss if social media increases depression, anxiety, and divisions between people, as it is shown to do. None of that is good, and none of us want that. But it's also brought people together, organ donors, old friends that have found each other, movements that have started from Facebook groups. We've gotten laughs from videos, vital information from our news feeds. We felt connected with people far away during global crises. Social media in general is a young industry. It's not even 2 decades old, and growing pains are inevitable. I'm a futurist, and what's so fun about tech is that it's never stagnant. I may disagree with some of the sweeping claims made by the social dilemma, but I do agree with the documentary that there's a better future possible, and we just need a little mindfulness from companies and consumers alike to make it happen. So back to my dilemma, should I get that Fender Strat, or is the guitar part of an evil scheme to manipulate my spending habits? In an effort to practice mindfulness, I will choose the middle ground. I'm going to avoid the impulse of clicking on the ad, and instead, I'm going to a guitar store this weekend. That way, I can try the guitar out in person, and I can buy it in real life. You might even see a post of me rocking out on the new guitar on my social feeds sometime soon. It all depends on your algorithm. I'm Daniel Lane Standig, and this has been Innovation 19.